Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Mike Graham.
Good evening and welcome to Plank of the Week, the one show where you know you don't have to judge anything at all because we will do it all for you. And I have assembled the most incredible panel tonight because we've got more plankery than you can shake a stick at. I have got Jeremy Kyle, I've got Samara Gill, I've got Will Geddes, I've got Mark Wogan, looking very sombre, all in black. Somebody died. Anyway, whoa. Jeremy, over to you. Ed Davey. Lib Dems have had their conference this week.
Brilliant, yes, very exciting. Can I just say that we sit here every week and do planks.
Yes.
There is not a more perfect label for this idiot. If we go back to the general election where he won 72 seats, I think most people would say that all they know Ed Davey for are these stunts. He jumped in the water in a wetsuit, he arrived in a Greece-themed car.
Jet skis.
He walked into Bournemouth, which is brave at the moment, to be honest, about the migrants there. He walked into the Bournemouth Conference Centre this week dressed as a clown, which you need nothing more. And then for some unknown reason, I don't know, he just doesn't have it for me, right? Has made Nigel Farage, he's obsessed with Nigel Farage. He mentioned him 30 times in his speech.
All right.
30 times.
I'll tell you what I've got for you. I don't need a narrative to go on too far because we've got some clips, right?
Shut up then.
No, you don't have to, but here's how he came into the conference. This is his entrance.
Well, the Lib Dems are pledging to toughen up Britain's stance on illegal migration, among a range of other policies.
It's really part of an effort to try and reclaim the meaning of patriotism and try and fight back against what they describe as the divisive politics of Nigel Farage.
For those of us who've spent time in Scotland, all that reminds you of is an Orange March.
Yes.
Or sort of thing you see in Belfast.
He is farcical.
The glorious 12.
He is farcical, though, isn't he?
Yeah. Also, why is he wearing a tight white shirt when he's got a fat stomach?
Who'd do
That's
that?
a great question.
I mean, do you think that looks good?
Stop eating.
Yeah.
Apparently, his team don't tell him what the stunt's going to be beforehand so that he's got this, authentic reaction.
Yeah, really?
No, but it's like, he just looks like an oof. I mean,
I'd love to know what his MPs generally think, right? Because, as I said, he mentioned Nigel Farage, and then he went to this bizarre sort of... What did he say? He said that Nigel Farage would turn Great Britain into America. There'd be mass shootings in schools. There'd be Islamophobia. The guy is...
Which is actually, on the face of it, a pretty dangerous thing to say.
Well, I had somebody ring me up and say, isn't that near hate speech if Lucy Connolly can get 31 months for writing stuff that we don't condone?
Yeah.
He seems to be obsessed with Nigel Farage. He seems to be nothing more than some sort of... just a plaything. And you would wonder what his own MPs think of a guy who... How did he win 72 seats?
Well, they were mostly given to them, actually, funnily enough, by Nigel Farage, because a lot of the seats that they were won because Nigel Farage split the Tory vote. And they knew exactly where that was going to happen, and so they picked them all up. They actually got fewer votes than Farage got and Reform got.
This
is got, 8 times the seats.
It isn't just the fact that he dresses as a clown, acts like a clown, won 72 seats, talks like complete crap.
Yeah.
He then appeared on Piers Morgan Uncensored, where, yet again, another politician in this studio cannot say whether a woman's got a penis or not. I don't know if you've got it.
We have
9 times.
Let's go with that.
Do you believe that women can have a penis?
I've explained that I think the vast majority of people have the same gender.
Not people, women.
Well, there are men who want to change and women who want to change.
Right. But can women have a penis?
So what I'm saying is...
Well, can they or not?
Listen, I'm answering
Why are you
my question.
squirming?
I'm not squirming at all.
Can women have a penis? Last chance.
I want them to have
Last chance to answer.
Well, I think I've answered. I think your viewers will see I've answered.
I don't think the viewers have got a clue what you think.
And then he said this week, did you see that? I wouldn't rule out a coalition with Labour, he said, to keep Nigel Farage out of it. He's obsessed with Nigel Farage.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
We've also got the Farage clip. Is it Farage derangement syndrome? Here we go.
Farage, Nigel Farage. Farage is Britain. Farage is Britain.
He's got the air of a crap headmaster that thinks he's popular and all the kids hate him.
And funny.
Yeah.
And trying to be relevant.
Yeah. Can anybody name any Lib Dem policy? I don't know. Any.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, I think he's so intimidated by Farage because Farage doesn't have to do these weird stunts in order to get media coverage. He's actually putting forward policies. So I think that's where a lot of the jealousy comes from.
You would imagine if you had 72 seats that you would have the ear under this appalling government, Tories extinct. Right. You got 72 seats. You got high on 4 million votes. You'd think I'm going to stand up. The truth of the matter is, I'll tell you what I'd like to ask the creep, right?
Yeah.
You were the post office minister when that horrendous scandal took place.
Yeah.
You took part in joining the Tories and abandoning the only valued policy I think they've ever had, which is to cancel tuition fees for students. Oh, would you like a place in Cabinet? Yeah, we'll throw that out.
Yeah.
They are... I can't have them.
No.
Okay, plank of the week, clown, idiot, numpty. Done.
Waste of time. Let's have the final clip about how Nigel Farage winning will spark a load of shootings in school.
Don't let it become Farage's Britain, where gun laws are rolled back. So schools have to teach our children what to do in case of a mass shooting.
I mean, I think
I
that's
could contest that
irresponsible.
immediately because that's more of a
He should be
jihadi
doing
plot
30
than it
days
is
for that.
a Farage plot.
I know. It is bonkers. It is absolutely mad.
I actually genuinely think he's dangerously thick.
Yeah.
I do think he's thick.
He's not very bright.
No.
And I think your analogy is great. He's like a headmaster who thinks he's funny. It's nothing worse. Talking to people who think they're funny, how about the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson?
I mean, that woman is a penniless grifter who would literally do anything for a pound. And I feel like that was revealed this week when we saw emails from her to Jeffrey Epstein, basically calling him an amazing friend after he'd been convicted of paedophilic things in the States. And she's been dropped now from all 7 charities.
7 charities,
I don't know.
I was watching Jeremy's show this week, and at the start of the show, she'd only been dropped by 1 charity. By the end of it, all 7 had gone.
Honestly.
It was like a full house.
It was like me doubling my audience. And it's a literally unbelievable human being. And afterwards, and then she came out with that excuse. She went, well, I had to do it because I was told I'd lose my career. And so I just said, Jeffrey, I would...
Yeah, you heard the latest one. She was protecting the daughters.
She always throws those daughters under the bus. They're always getting trodden on in pursuit of her and Andrew having some sort of reputation. It's quite interesting because that lawsuit thing that she claims doesn't stand up because he was already a convicted pedophile. So why would he be suing you for defamation, Fergie?
Right.
It makes absolutely no sense.
She claims that he made some kind of Hannibal Lecter-esque telephone call to her. Yeah. I'm not quite sure. I'm trying to imagine.
I can do the impression.
Can you do it? Go on.
I think it's time I return to public life.
Fava beans with a nice Chianti.
I ate his liver with what was it? Fava beans with a nice Chianti.
The nice Chianti.
I love the fact that apparently, yes, Epstein said that he was going to
ignored
ruin hers and the York family if she did anything, because she basically had been out. She'd been on air, hadn't she, and basically vilified him.
He doesn't care about this. He's desperate to say something.
No,
what it is I'm concerned because I think we're missing her greatest crime. Because she started famous people writing children's books.
Yeah.
Yes, that's so
Budgie,
true.
the helicopter.
Have you been turned down again by the publishers you have?
I had a lovely idea. I had a lovely idea. It was based around my own children, and I was going to write it, and it was going to be no.
She's now a pedophile sympathiser, so she's not going to be associated with children's charities, children's books in the future. Everything's going to dry up for her, and they're going to be penniless once again.
She's kiboshed her entire career. Have a look at this. This is an Australian interview that she did 7 years ago.
Did you take the money? At one stage, you had $40,000 cash sitting in front of you. Did you take it?
Absolutely, yes. And it was given to me, and I got it in the car and then returned it straight away.
Once the scandal broke?
As soon as I knew it was a scandal, not once it broke, Michael. But don't try and trick me now, because I'm not going to play this game. Delete that bit. John, can you just delete it? I'm going to take 5 minutes.
I'm sorry?
No, nothing. I'm just going to take 5 minutes.
I love it.
I took the £40,000 in a bag and I put it in the car.
And I only gave it back when I realised it was a scam.
Well, they reckon now that, because initially the story was that Epstein had given her 15,000 quid, which, if you understand the way these people spend money, I mean, that's just one afternoon at the Ritz.
She was 4 million in debt to the bank.
2 million is what they actually think that he got, because they bought the ski lodge in Switzerland as a result.
That'll be it.
So, I mean, talk about grifters.
It does also beg the question, I thought we talked about this already, how many people, high-profile people, politicians, film, whatever, did he have on his payroll that he'd done favours for? There must be people quaking in their books. She's done... Listen, the two of them, the big debate this week was should King Charles, cut them off completely? Apparently William wants to. I've got a different view to everybody else. I think that Andrew would spill the beans. I'm sure he's got stuff on his brother, and I think they just want to keep him at arm's length. I'd send him to Scotland.
I used to think it must be weird in that house, though, the Royal Lodge, because it's got 30-odd rooms, right?
I kissed a girl there.
Andrew lives there. Sorry?
I kissed a girl in Royal Lodge.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back to that. After
Is
the
that a
break.
euphemism?
Sarah Ferguson down the hall in another room, and I just have this vision of them at night, kind of playing sort of peekaboo, running around, what room are you in now?
I wouldn't be surprised. They're so infantile.
They're so weird.
Yeah, but he has all his teddies on the bed.
It's extraordinary what works for you, Mike.
Yes.
It's really interesting, though. I think what you said, Jeremy, is right. That these emails, from what I can see from them, show that maybe Fergie was trying to really appease him because Epstein must have had so much on Andrew. And that's the dynamic that we can see.
I wonder how many people, when he died, when he took his own life, went, phew, and however many went, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Do you know what I mean? And I interviewed Ghislaine, as you know, right, in a prison 2 years ago on tour, right?
Yes.
And I'm not saying anything in her defence, but there's a hell of a lot more people, I think, who are...
Here's what somebody said to me this week.
I'm not sticking up for a tour,
He's taken down Ghislaine Maxwell, he's taken down Andrew, he's now taken down Fergie, taken down Mandelson.
Clinton?
When is there going to be an American victim?
Well,
of
Virginia
what he said?
Drewfrey's book is actually going to come out later. She was writing a book, and they're going to actually publish... Well, they're going to... she's genuinely from beyond the grave, and that should have some very interesting pieces of information.
Right.
I mean, you only have to look at the manifests. You've seen the manifests and all the names. I mean, that gives you a pretty damn good idea of who was on the island.
Well, you know who was there. It's a question of what they were doing when they were there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they were all drinking the Kool-Aid, weren't they?
Some of them were. I think it's a bit like P. Diddy's parties. Some people left before it got really weird.
Yeah.
And some people stayed for the weird bit,
Agreed.
That's what I think. Who can forget, though, this particular scandal from 1992?
The latest shock scandal to rock Buckingham Palace. The royal family's bad girl, the Duchess of York, was in the headlines again. Fergie, as she's commonly known, had been caught by the pool with her top off, smooching with her financial advisor, Texas millionaire John Bryan. One picture showed him kissing the Duchess's foot. Another showed the Duchess rubbing suntan oil into Bryan's balding head.
Those were the days. That's when you used to be able to take secret pictures of people in their private homes.
Yeah. Are you implying that was correct?
Well, it didn't do anybody any harm.
No.
It was a better
for a
time.
cheery Sunday, didn't it?
Well, not for those of us who are in the public eye.
I had a couple of rough Sundays, to be honest.
I think
she's always been an embarrassment, though, mate.
I think Mark's probably the one who's had to have the most conversations with people going, have you seen the news of the world?
Do you want to expand on that? I don't know what he's talking about.
Only yesterday we were discussing... Kevin O'Sullivan asked me why I gave up drink and drugs. And I said, so you stopped turning up at my parents' house and asking me what's going on.
Yeah. Kevin O'Sullivan forgets most things. He doesn't. He used to call me Jeremy Vile every week in his newspaper. I'd go, when I came here, I said like that. And he went, oh, hello, how are you? And I thought, you've completely forgotten, haven't you? You just forget.
He does, It's the way it goes. Will, over to you. You've got the Prime Minister.
Well, I think I have got.
Winner.
I was going to say, Davey's a close contender, but I think I've got the one.
Do we have a Prime Minister?
Yes. Well, we have this one person, Mark, that's bleeding the country dry and is now probably going to have to pay $3 trillion in reparations to Palestine now that he's given Hamas, and as Gaza Hamad, the head of Hamas, said, the greatest gift we could have asked for. We weren't a recognised state before, but now we are.
Shocking.
And it's given complete sanctioning till October the 7th. Yeah. The worst atrocity that has taken place on the Jewish and the Israeli community since the Holocaust.
Yeah. They call this the fruits of October the 7th.
Yeah, they do. They do. And I mean, they're all celebrating.
Justice for their cause.
Claiming victory.
Yeah. And they're celebrating as much as they were celebrating when 9/11 happened as well. So, it's nice to see they're keeping, obviously, in theme.
Yeah.
It's astounding how our Prime Minister, with no consensus from the general public, no engagement with the general public, the people of the United Kingdom, to see what their sentiment is, to actually then go ahead and say, oh, yeah, no, I'm going to recognise Palestine as a state. Now, what does that actually mean? Not a great deal. The only thing I could recognise potentially as a benefit would be, if it is a state, then we could potentially send troops in. But that's about it.
No government apparatus, no capital.
Well, let's have a look, because this is one of his more wooden and more ridiculous statements, I think. We've got so many of these statements of his that he puts out on Twitter. This is the actual statement about Palestine. Have a look.
I state clearly, as Prime Minister of this great country, that the United Kingdom formally recognises the state of Palestine.
Yeah.
That's
A
AI.
great country.
That's
not-
AI.
I mean, we were a once great nation. He is doing everything in his power to absolutely destroy us.
Can I say something? Because Mikey was aware of this. So we're doing this on the show, and I'm pretty appalled. And the messages are, and then from nowhere, because he announced this on the eve of Rosh Hashanah, Jewish religious holiday, so nobody can get hold of anybody.
Great timing.
New Year.
Out on X, it's like doing on Christmas Day, as you said. This joyous message to all the Jewish communities. The hostages, and I just thought, you are the typical. I'm going to please you and you and you and you. And do you know what I've actually done? I've hacked everybody off.
Yeah.
I'm completely and utterly incapable of having anything in it. I would have preferred it, not preferred in wrong words. I would have made more of a vegan. Do you know what? I don't support the Jewish community. I'm supporting Palestine. I don't support the Palestinians. But he's always trying to be all things to all people.
Last year, because this was posted on Twitter this week, on Rosh Hashanah, they had an Israeli flag projected onto Downing Street, onto number 10 Downing Street. And he's done a complete volte-face because this year he's recognised Hamas and the Palestinian state as a legitimate organisation.
I mean, the whole thing is so idiotic. When you look at what the Singaporean government have actually stated in terms of recognising Palestine as an official state, they've actually had the sense and the brains to turn around and say, until such time as a democratically elected government is in place and the 43 hostages have been returned, will we then consider recognising Palestine?
Well, that's what Giorgia Meloni said.
Yeah.
She's in Italy and she said exactly the same thing. They're not going to do it. But have a look at this. 9 out of 10 Brits do not back a Palestinian state.
There you go.
And the point about also what's been going on is that he issued a statement the day after, or 2 days after making his views known about the Palestinian state. He's actually asked people in the West Bank not to continue, the Palestinian Authority, not to continue giving people money for killing Israelis. Because that's what they get.
Yeah.
If you martyr yourself, the family of the Palestinians who've martyred themselves by killing Israelis get money from the government to live for the rest of time. As if it's a reward.
That's standard.
You might think that he would have said that. You might have said he would do. He might have said to them, "Why don't you stop doing that, and then we'll recognise you." But no, he did it the other way.
All things to all people and nothing to anybody.
But you take it even deeper, and again, it shows what a kiddie paddling pool of a man this man is.
I know.
That the whole October the 7th was instrumented by Iran in terms of backing, Al Qaeda in terms of training. It was planned to have been actually implemented 2 years prior to when it actually was done. So they've been running up for 2 years. And there was intelligence to lead to that. And yet he's going, well done.
Mikey, you told me this years ago, and I've used this repeatedly. The only democratically elected government in the Middle East, right, and I'm not a massive supporter of Netanyahu, is the Israeli government. They are surrounded by groups funded by the mad mullahs of Tehran. And we have, as the United Kingdom, gone, we're going to recognise a terrorist state.
Now, we've got to move on, but not yet until I've played you this, because this is one of the more ridiculous Keir Starmer videos.
Really?
This is after Checkers.
More ridiculous?
Oh, you're up in the game
this
here.
This is after Checkers. And I want you to pay close attention to this, right? This is after Checkers.
I know this.
Right? And Donald Trump and Melania and the whole US contingent had left, right? And he decided to come out in a weird-looking T-shirt and talk to the police through a walkie-talkie, which makes him sound even less robotic than his real voice.
Brilliant.
Right? Have a look at this.
I'm passing you now over to the Prime Minister for a short message.
Hello, thank you so much for all your hard work and professionalism and dedication.
To make this event a complete success. From the Gold Command to the Prime Minister, thank you very much for your message on behalf of everybody.
What's that on his arm? Was that the sort of Palestinian flag on his arm? What was that?
That would have only been better if you'd said Roger over
I know.
now.
I know. He thinks he's in Z card. But the other final mention has to be to his Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney, who is now right in the deep water. In fact, again, I have to say, for the third week in a row, by the time Friday rolls around, he might be out of a job.
I'm just having a look for 700 grand. Sorry, I don't know where it is.
Where's it gone? I'm sure he's put it down there somewhere.
£740,000 came in to Labour Together, which is a think tank, and they didn't declare it, even though they were told to declare it by the Electoral Commission. The Tories have now called in the police. The Electoral Commission are investigating.
It's not in the boot of Fergie's car, is it?
It might be.
It could be that 40...
She'll put it back as soon as she realises.
Yeah. when she finds out it's a scandal, she'll just...
Every week this happens and he'll be gone.
And I can tell you exactly why he'll be gone. You know why?
No, because you're doing it on this show.
Because Keir Starmer's got his full confidence in him.
Right there.
He said,
I'm buggered now. He said he's got full confidence. I'm after the ship.
As soon as he said it,
oh no, it's all over.
Because he had full confidence in Angela Rayner, and she resigned 2 days later. He had full confidence in Peter Manus, and he fired him the next day.
He's got a new company. It's called Wrong Move.
Yeah, very good. Now listen, we're running very late, so...
I didn't.
Mark Wogan, over to you.
Gen Z.
Yes.
Turns out, people, they're having less sex than our parents did.
No.
Now, what are those... Before you boast, there are certain contributing factors. One is they can't get their own place, so it's difficult to find somewhere to be intimate.
I mean, what's wrong with these people?
Hang on, we never had that.
I didn't have my own place when I was 17.
Yeah, exactly.
The rink, the bunker on the golf course, the back of the car.
That's what the bike shed was for.
Hampstead Heath.
Okay, yeah. Whoa,
steady,
hold on.
steady, Mike.
What, you and George Michael?
I used to live there.
Oh, right. Okay.
You and George...
But there are other factors as well.
Yes, okay.
Dating app burnout.
Oh.
That can be a terrible...
Is that from repetitive
Erectile
strain
dysfunction.
syndrome?
But just that.
Yeah.
Erectile dysfunction?
In Gen
Well,
Zers?
no. Also,
Maybe.
the other thing is the rampant prescribing of
There you
antidepressants
go,
which
that's what I
affect sex drive.
There is so much nowadays about it's got to be the right person, and we're going to go out, and then we're going to talk, and then we're going to be friends, and we might have sex, but we're not committed.
Yeah.
I don't know whether this is old-fashioned. You'd agree with me. You just went out and you met somebody, and if you liked them, you had a physical relationship, and then you didn't, or you were mates. So it's just, I think they overthink everything, man.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, so do their parents.
Yes.
Because of technology now, you can follow your kid wherever they go.
Right.
And they don't feel like they have any freedom because it's
Switch
like,
it off.
What about
I'd love
Samara?
to...
Let's ask you, because
Samara.
you're closer to Gen Z
You're a
than the rest
millennial.
of us. I'm not asking you to make any confessions. I'm just saying, you know, is any of this from these old gits right? Are they right?
Yeah,
Anything by the wheelie bins for you?
I think they are completely right. I think they totally are. But I don't know how much sex the previous generation was having. But yeah, there's not much going on.
Really?
Well,
no
put
way.
it this way.
What's wrong with
Myself,
people?
Mike, Jeremy and Will, we're exhausted.
Yeah.
I think our generation is strangely like over-sexualized, but then also very sort of prudish. It's a really weird intersection.
I think the prudish bit is also true.
Yeah, we really are.
I think
The
as a
wokery
generation-
and
yeah,
prudery.
the wokery and the prudishness and the kind of I don't know whether I can ask a girl out.
Well,
kind of
there's
thing.
that.
Or
yeah,
she
I
might have a
remember-
willy.
There is such a thing as a celibate influencer, right?
Oh, no,
And
really?
here's one here.
Would you take a break from dating for a year and maybe just date yourself? Trust me, it's not that bad. It's called going boy sober. No dating, no kissing, and no sex for a period of time. And some therapists say it shows how Gen Z is rewriting the rules around dating and sex. So how common is the boy sober life? It's hard to say, but surveys show Gen Z is having less sex in general. A recent survey found that a quarter of Gen Z adults in the US said they've never had sex.
So I've spoken to Gen Zers, right, who say that there's too much pressure on them. But that's part of that argument. That it's all so confusing. You've got to write this and send that and talk here and talk there and not let your hair down because you might offend some... Jesus Christ, it's just difficult. Why is it difficult?
To be honest, you used to have to like go and seek out a sort of Playboy or something. Now, in this phone, you can have access to every single
I think
sort
that's
of
lazy. We used to just go to a
What
bar.
have you got on there?
Everything.
Really?
I've got it all. Yeah, meet me after the show.
But also, she's got her pussy on the front.
Thank you very much.
There we go.
Oh, I say. Anyway, listen, we're way over time.
I had a massive point to make.
Well, you can come back and make it in a minute because we've got to take a break.
massive,
Otherwise,
isn't it?
we'll be in big trouble. This is Plank of the Week. Coming up, migrant taxis. It's a brilliant story. I'm going to be telling you exactly what it's all about. Plus, Zarah Sultana, the fruit and nut party, has finally gone mad. We'll see you after this.
Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Mike Graham.
Welcome back to Plank of the Week. I'm Mike Graham. It is, of course, the place where you find all the common sense that you need. We've had a hell of a start to the show already. I mean, we could stop now because we've got like 4 surefire winners. But this one, a great big story this week, was in The Sun. An incredible amount of money being wasted, public money being wasted, on taxis for migrants. Now, you can scarcely believe this is a true story, but it actually is, right? Asylum seekers are being ferried around the country in taxis to the tune of hundreds of thousands of pounds. There's one taxi company which was making £344,000 a month.
You're
right?
kidding.
I am not joking. £344,000 a month. As soon as we started talking about this story, people were ringing up the show. One guy who was a taxi driver in Herne Bay, he said, I took a guy to Scotland from Folkestone the other day for £800 in an E-Class Mercedes. He said, I don't know what he was going there for, but they're going for doctor's appointments, they're going for dentist appointments, they're going to visit the Home Office. In some cases, they're going to the mosque and they're going in taxis because the Home Office says, basically, these people need to be treated differently from ordinary British citizens because they are vulnerable and they can't get the bus, even though they get a free bus pass. They can't get the train, even though they get a free train. Look at his face. He's not liking this.
I went on the tube with you this week.
I know.
Didn't get an E-Class Mercedes.
Didn't get an E-Class Mercedes. And the thing that's incredible about this, right, is that there are hundreds and hundreds of people being shipped and ferried around. And here's the logic, right? So if you get moved from an asylum hotel somewhere in Southampton and you suddenly end up in Derbyshire, right? They say, well, because you've got a doctor down in Southampton, you have to go and see that doctor in Southampton. So we'll put you in a car. The car will take you down there.
They wouldn't change where they're registered then?
No, that's what we have to do if we move house.
And we can't register because, to be perfectly honest, there's no space.
You can't get a doctor because they're seeing all these migrants. And people were telling us today again, at these migrant hotels, you get taxis pulling up outside constantly to take them places.
Can I tell you something?
Unbelievable.
Somebody privately sent me an online thing, and I'm not bothered in the slightest bit about it all. And this person basically said that what you and Mike and people on Talk, it is so unfair. These poor people, you're so far right. It's racist. These poor people, and you want to go. Can I just sort of shake you for a minute? When you hear a story like that, right? There are people watching this in their thousands who are going, I've just done my week's work. I've paid my bills. I've fed my kids. I can't even afford to get an Indian tonight. I might have a can of lager. My missus is there. And these people, it is becoming so farcical and so embarrassing. And they wonder why the British people have had it. They have had it in their millions.
If you can't get an Indian, right, you just call up this taxi company and they'll bring you an Afghan for 250 quid because it says here... there's a
Did I deliver that quite well for you?
Yeah, it was, thank you. There's a guy called Kadir appeared on this BBC show who said that he was taking 250 miles to have a check-up on his knee and that cost £600 as a return fare in a minicab.
Insane.
It's absolutely incredible, isn't it?
Insane.
But it's incredible. I'm having a go. Incredible. It's so wrong, Mike, and it sends such an appalling message to all the people who don't break the law, work hard and live their lives correctly.
And
because
pay their
we feel
taxes.
like, excuse me, Chuck, I think many people in this country feel they're having the piss taken out of them.
They are.
Now. I really do.
And guess what? There'll be no winter fuel allowance for the elderly this year, will there?
We're told. Well, you know what winter fuel allowance is? 300 quid.
Brilliant.
That's 2 trips for this guy in his cab to get his knee looked at, right?
Nice.
And that's 2 pensioners that could have had their winter fuel allowance.
Yeah.
We're going to get told that we have to put more taxes on you when we're giving out this money hand over fist. Here's another one that's going to knock your socks off. There's a taxi company called PTS 247, which has got a contract with a company called Clear Springs, which is like Serco. They organise all the hotels. They organise, the accommodation for the. They're suing Clear Springs for £2.75 million in unpaid taxi invoices because Clear Springs are saying we're not sure you actually took all these journeys.
What was the name of the company?
PTS 47.
They haven't been paid and they've got PTSD.
There we go. Yeah.
Very good, sir.
It's just,
are you here all week?
It's so good.
I'm concerned, are we actually just creating a microeconomy? Because in many cases, aren't they just going to be picked up by their cousin?
Well, that's possible too. I mean, the point is the taxi companies are making an absolute fortune. And if you think about this PTS 247 company, they're making in excess of £5 million a year. That's one taxi company in one part of Britain.
Yeah.
So you can imagine what the extent of this is.
And that Doge thing that Reform talk about, that Zia talks about going into councils they've started with Kent, and some of what they've found in terms of what's spent on what people is. But I go back to it. I don't know what everybody else thinks. When people say to me, "Oh, you're being really unfair," this is massively unfair. Yeah. It's immoral and it sends the worst message.
Yeah.
And also, I know Trump did his bit this week, right, which made me laugh, but. We're an embarrassment, mate, and that does my head in.
It's crazy.
I never thought this country was embarrassing.
I know. Over to you, Jeremy, because people have been giving money for causes.
This is great. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you, for Plank of the Week, bail for immigration detainees. I don't know why, but it's called BID. bid, basically, their aim in life, as a Home Office-backed charity, ladies and gentlemen, is to provide a step-by-step guide to ensure that migrants understand how easy it is to stay in the United Kingdom. So we're not actually saying to them, by the way, you've broken the law, you've come here illegally, you haven't been vetted, do one. We're saying, look, here's an organisation. It's a lovely organisation full of people who probably eat a lot of vegetables, and they'll help you stay here. Maybe they'll tell you to become Christian or marry somebody. Here's the best bit. He says, try not to headbutt, and your dad would be turning in his grave. Comic relief! Comic Relief gave these people £400,000. So when you are on that Friday night thinking that you are giving money to starving kids, that we'd all do, right? You're actually giving it to bid the bail for immigration detainees 400 grand to make sure if you're an illegal migrant that it's easier to stay in the UK. That, ladies and gentlemen, honestly, I'm sorry, I can't. I know it becomes
I don't want to prick the bubble.
What would Terry have thought, seriously? What would he have thought?
He was part of Children in Need, not Comic Relief.
Brilliant. Well done, Jez. That was fantastic.
It's probably the same thing, though.
Yeah.
Because...
But what would he have... I'm being serious. What would he have thought?
Yeah, I mean, any association with that, given what the charity does, is such an appalling thing to do to the charity.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really is.
Very down the line.
It takes people's kind of generosity away as well, because these people, and I've been saying this for years,
mockery.
that these migrant charities, both here and in France, are completely and utterly set up to help these people to stay and to convince them to do things which are borderline illegal in order to stay. Because, for example, one of the things in the booklet, it says when you're being asked about, why you can't be sent home, you say, I'm suffering from mental health problems, I fear that I might be tortured. You can say that you're gay. You can say that, you fear that your family will be in some way attacked. I mean, one guy that we discovered, the rapist from Hyde Park, the guy who was living in a hotel in Ealing from Egypt, right? Turns out that he came to this country illegally in 2023. Yeah, I can't remember his name. He's got a wife and a child in Turkey. The reason he can't go back to Egypt is because he was actually a convicted terrorist in Egypt. He was part of a bomb-making gang for ISIS, right?
Yes.
That's why he can't go back to Egypt.
Yeah.
But we didn't care about that. We let him come in anyway.
Yeah.
He then gets on a train, goes into Hyde Park, rapes a woman, and is now going to prison for 12 months.
For 12 months?
12 months.
In this
when he considered next to Lucy Letby.
Yeah.
Connolly, sorry.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Let's have a look at what Donald Trump had to say this week about the state of London.
I look at London, where you have a terrible mayor, and it's been so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law, but you're in a different country. You can't do that. Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately.
First time ever we've had the President of the United States nominating Sadiq Khan for Plank of the Week.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say?
Is he on the list?
People were phoning yesterday when that happened, and they were saying, look, I don't buy the Sharia law thing. I don't buy that. But when he stood and he said, the United Nations was set up to sort of stop wars, not fund them.
Right.
Yeah.
Net stupid zero, to coin Richard Tyson's phrase, the biggest con job in the world. And frankly, you're just all a bunch of tossers, is what he was saying. Yeah. And they're all sat there like that. And then this morning, I don't know if you've heard it, the White House has said, and you deliberately stopped the escalator working.
Well, we're going to come to that later. We're going to move on. Over to you, Zarah Sultana.
Well, it goes back to this conversation we were having earlier in the show about Starmer and Labour recognising Palestine, and it's nothing about Palestine, actually. It's all about our internal affairs here.
Yes.
Zarah Sultana, Jeremy Corbyn, they've got this Your Party, terribly named, because whenever you try to have a conversation with anyone about it, they're like, what? What are you talking about?
Bracket.
Yeah. Yeah. They've already split up, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's weird
It
how...
didn't last long, did it?
Well, it's weird how...
The Yawn Party.
The Yawn Party, correct.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mingen bracket, more like.
Zarah Sultana fully expected Jeremy Corbyn and some of the Islamic people in her party to be all for the women, all for the girls.
Yes.
Apparently they weren't. It's a sexist boys club, according to her. And the thing is, this party, because of its 800,000 members, unpaid, by the way, has really come up as a threat for Starmer, and that's why he's doing all this crazy stuff like recognising Palestine. He doesn't want the vote to be split. I doubt that it's going to work. I obtained this footage earlier in the week of one of Zarah Sultana's rallies.
Okay.
I do want to show it because it just shows how much of a threat she is to this nation.
All right, let's have a look.
That isn't a microphone. Cool. I mean, there's something there. It's fine. I'm going to try to hold my papers and the microphone at the same time. This is going to be Exciting. Hi, everyone. I am so grateful. There are so many people here. There's so many people in the room next door. And I know that is still, it is.
So she's a big threat to Starmer, this woman who can't even hold a proper rally in Brixton on a Friday night. It's really weird how the Labour Party is getting faction like this, and I don't really know what it's going to mean for the future. I guess it means that Starmer's going to be a bit screwed.
I've got the future mapped out in my head now. So, Sultana and Ed Davey join together in the comedy party.
Do not.
Yeah, they could have a sort of a waxworks setup.
Isn't it true that Starmer has covered or tried to cover so many bases and those 4 MPs, independent, that won their seats in the last election based entirely on Gaza, nothing else, right?
Yeah.
He's terrified about losing the Muslim vote, which is why the Palestine thing happened, which is why he's concerned about this party. And again, with the greatest respect, ignoring all the things that are driving average, normal, working people. And that's the thing that does me as well. We're the working people's party. I don't know, a working person in this country thinks that Corbyn, what's that woman called?
Zarah Sultana.
Nutjob, or Starmer have any concern for them at all.
They really don't. Somebody's come up with a song, though, the Zarah Sultana, the Sexist Boys Club song.
Zarah Sultana and the Sexist Boys Club. Boys Club.
I mean,
that was really dad-like.
I was surprised. I was surprised that Starmer hasn't used that music to put on one of those stupid videos that he puts out. You know, with a techno beat on it. You know, when he's going, "I've helped for working
with one of his movie
country."
T-shirts.
I mean, it is brilliant. Now, we can never do a story. This is a bit like, you know how we always do Hamza Yusuf falling off the scooter, right?
Oh yeah.
You can never do a Jeremy Corbyn story without this.
I mean, that could be video evidence.
We've got to see that again. It's so funny.
It's
just wait for it.
Sexual harassment.
Well,
in the workplace.
That's Lady Noogie, isn't it? There he goes. High five.
Right on the breast. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, if that doesn't show Sexist Boys Club, I don't know what does.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's basically
Brilliant.
hitting her in the boob.
I know, fantastic. Right, listen, we're ending another portion there. Coming up next, NATO have made it into Plank of the Week, I think for the very first time. Right. And also Wetherspoons, all coming up next.
Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Mike Graham.
Welcome back to Plank of the Week. It is over to you, Mr. Will Geddes. I mean, you're the military expert, so
well,
NATO.
I try, Mike. We are, as we all know, in very precarious times now. We are potentially on the verge of World War III.
DEFCON 4.
We are, pretty much. I mean, we've got obviously all these issues with Russia sending over sort of drones into Poland, jets over Estonia. And he's testing the defences to see exactly what's going to happen. This is a critical time for, obviously, NATO to come together to show a unified force.
Yes.
But not necessarily in the way that you would hope. Because they've decided to release their new wokery terms for various military personnel, of which they've decided to change things like airmen to Air Force personnel.
You can't say airmen.
You can't say airmen anymore.
Right.
You can also, you can't say my guys, you have to say team. You have to, rather than say wives, say spouses. Manning, no more.
Manning, no.
Staffing.
Staffing, of course.
Mankind, humanity.
What, we're just going to blow up humanity? Is that the sort of sentence?
Exactly. And serviceman, surface member. So, you know, at a really critical time when one would hope that this coalition is ready, is on a fighting stance, is prepared to protect us. They're more concerned about how you're going to refer to each other within those military
You can
forces.
just see it, can't you? Before we go over the top, make sure you use the right vernacular.
Yeah, exactly. And the right gender as well.
I feel like I can't do this anymore.
No, Keir Starmer.
Make sense.
Keir Starmer said we were on a war footing, didn't he?
Yes.
Ever since then, you know, it's all gone horribly wrong.
It has, just hideously. And the thing is that, as the military tend to do, they tend to abbreviate certainly some of these terms. So the Air Force personnel, which abbreviates to AFP. Now, I always like, and some of the viewers and listeners may want to do this, go onto the Urban Dictionary and see what AFP is generally used as.
Yes. Well, tell us.
I can't on air. I think we'll get taken off.
Well, just think, Dad's Army couldn't be on that list because Captain Mannering would have to be Captain Pursering, or
That's
wouldn't
right.
Captain,
It wouldn't work.
Membering or something.
It wouldn't work.
It's
Crikey.
ridiculous.
I know.
It makes us so soft. China and Russia are laughing right now.
Yeah, they're not worried about how you label a soldier. They've got thousands with guns marching up and down. We're going, sorry, what are your woke rights? I've got a penis.
Yeah.
Oh, God, don't carry a gun. Oh, you've upset somebody.
I know. It's ridiculous. We've got to move on. Mark Wogan, Wetherspoons in Surrey Keys.
Well, we've talked about this before, Mike.
We have.
I love you so much. It's the queuing up for a pint. So this goes back to lockdown.
Yeah.
So we had to queue to get a pint.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now Wetherspoons have decided that's the correct way.
When The Sun did the story, they spoke to people who said, actually, it's all a bit pressurised when you have to go up to a bar and try and get a drink in front of other people.
But it's if you take that, right, and I know to you we are four old gits.
No.
Our forefathers literally fought.
Three, maybe.
Steady. Right? They fought for our basic rights as human beings. We've got a generation who can't have sex because it might traumatise them. They can't queue for a pint of beer. Our army aren't allowed to carry guns. Women have got penises. I am turning into my dad.
I know.
You are turning? I've already turned.
Let's have a look at Thomas Godfrey, whose story this was in The Sun, investigating.
Managers at this branch of the beloved boozer chain have told customers to start queuing up one by one in order to get served. It's split many opinions here among people who call this place their second home. Some say that the supposedly fair system is actually throwing the tradition out of the window for no reason, and that if it's not broken, why do bosses feel the need to fix it?
The good news on this story is that Tim Martin happens to watch Talk, and he saw that we covered this story. And he told them to stop being so bloody stupid.
Did he?
And told them to get rid of the sign and to tell people to stand where they're supposed to stand along the end of the bar.
At the bar?
Yeah, the bar.
I get the bit, please keep this area clear for glass collecting, but the rest of it, that's fair game.
Is there not
the whole point of a bar, isn't it?
Is there now not a section for migrants as well?
Yeah,
Keep
there
that
is.
clear for migrants.
And the guys on the scooters as well for taking the food
Hamza
away.
Yusuf.
Yeah, absolutely right. Now, listen, we're running out of time again. So coming up, we've got the final nominee, which is coming from me, which is another trigger warning, I'm afraid, for a piece of literature which you might not know about. And we'll get a special mention
It's
as
not
well.
Budgie the helicopter.
It is not. This is Plank of the Week.
Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Mike Graham.
Welcome back to Plank of the Week. We're in the final furlong. I'm going to have to make a decision soon as to who's going to win. But a special mention, you mentioned it slightly a little bit earlier, but I'll give a special mention to the United Nations, who welcomed many of the world's leaders this week into New York on the east side. A couple of really funny things happened. President Emmanuel Macron, you may remember, couldn't get to the United Nations because his car was stopped by the police, who didn't believe who he was. And he got out of the car and started saying, "Look, I'm going to the. I must go to the United Nations, please. I must go."
Where is he from?
He's from France. And they said, "Well, that's fine, but we've closed the road. You can't come in." And he actually rang Donald Trump to say, "Can you get me through the cordon?"
No, it's not that at all. He got out of his car. Because Donald Trump's motorcade was coming
Yes, I know. But he rang Donald Trump to ask for permission.
I can't come.
He cannot get through the cordon, and the cordon sanitaire. And Trump said, "Well, never mind. You'll just have to wait until we've gone past." He wouldn't let him through.
But the NYPD officer was brilliant.
He was
wasn't
great.
He? I mean,
he said, "I'm sorry, Mr. President, we can't help you."
Yeah.
He had to stand in the street. It was brilliant. Meanwhile, Donald Trump arrives, and some bright spark thought it would be funny, typical leftist, to stop the escalator as he was going up, as you mentioned earlier. And then, when he got up inside, they shut down the teleprompter.
Yeah.
And he basically said, "Well, in that case, I'm just going to talk for about 45 minutes." And Melania's at the back laughing because she knew if you cut this guy's teleprompter off, he's never going to shut up.
Yeah.
He's just going to keep going. So
did you see his comment as well when Trump actually said, and whoever was responsible for
is in
the
big
teleprompter
trouble.
breaking is in
Yeah, and there's now an
trouble.
FBI investigation into the sabotage of the president.
But this is dark. The Times reported that staff were joking about breaking that escalator before he came.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't know. That could have, if Melania wasn't in such, as he said, in such a good way, they could have fallen down.
Yeah. Well, Biden would have fallen down anyway. You know, even if they hadn't stopped it. Can you imagine? It's straight down. Anyway,
The
listen.
stairs are moving. The stairs are moving. Help.
It's like remember when he couldn't climb up the stairs of the plane? He went down 3 times.
3 times.
Tried to get up.
How was he the president?
I know.
For as long as he was?
Listen, anyway, my final nomination for you is the Leeds Playhouse.
Yeah. Are we playing there? Our tour?
We could do.
Yeah.
We may well do, but they may have a trigger warning for us. They've got a Christmas Carol coming up soon.
Yeah.
And they've put a trigger warning out on A Christmas Carol. They're worried about people's reaction, so they've said that the festive classic tackles isolation, social responsibility, greed and death.
Wow.
They also say the Christmas Carol is a ghost story and therefore contains depictions of ghosts.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's quite spooky. It may not be suitable for children under 7. I mean, I've been watching The Christmas Carol since I was about 3 or something. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. First published in 1843. Obviously, it's the story of Ebenezer Scrooge and all that.
Yeah.
Jacob Marley's ghost and all that. It was brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
But apparently, it's a new play written by Deborah McAndrew, who's also known for playing Angie Freeman in Coronation Street.
Oh.
I don't know who that is.
No.
But anyway, so what an absolute
I think there should be
situation.
a secondary warning on that, which is, I know you paid 25 quid for this seat, but this is potentially a rubbish play.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine rewriting
And
Charles...
your seat could be a health risk.
Imagine somebody deciding, I think I'll just rewrite that Dickens story.
Because Dickens didn't do it.
Well, he didn't do a much better job than him.
On a serious note, where does it end?
Where?
Well, what's going on? Where does it end? No, you can't watch anything, go anywhere. You can't do anything anymore.
No, but not without a trigger warning.
I tell you where it starts.
Can I just say that with our show on the 15th of November, are we going to have a trigger warning?
Yes.
World of common sense.
Do not enter unless you're
I'm not coming unless there is.
Yeah. Excellent. Tickets are still available.
He's
but
trying
only
to get a freebie.
You can't get a freebie. No,
Ticketmaster.com.
Yeah,
Saturday the 15th of November.
I paid for mine.
Yeah, you'd have
Was
to
going
go
to miss
to,
that for the world.
Maybe we get you into security or something.
Oh, yeah, we could.
There you go.
Do that.
Free ticket for security.
There you go.
Perfect.
Right now, there's so many possibilities here. I think it may have to be Starmer again, because I mean, I know that we don't like to talk to him too often.
Literally, he's
into
the drink.
I think you should listen. Sure, I think you should for the entire Gen Z. I think I can't believe.
Literally, it's like a clear-out sale here. I mean, he's sold the Chagos Island. There's now reparations that Palestine are going to want from us, some £3 trillion.
Also, as I say, by the time this actually comes out on Friday night, it could be that he's lost his chief of staff.
Say to him he can win if he does free security on Saturday the 15th.
We'll see if we can do that. The other one is Fergie, of course. I mean, Duchess of York. I mean,
She's had a pretty terrible week.
She's had a
massive
terrible
story
week.
that week.
Yeah.
Ed Davey.
Ed Davey's a nobody, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem.
Do you want to have a vote on it?
Yeah, all right. Then I can ignore
Sarah
it.
Ferguson. If it
all right, who wants Sarah Ferguson?
What about Morgan McSweeney?
Well, he's not even. But he wasn't even on the list.
Anyway, where have you been for an hour? Too busy online.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, listen. All right. Well, final chance for you to vote. Right. Since the last vote, nobody put their hands up. If you're going to vote,
I did.
Right. No, you put your hand up.
Is
before
that how
the
it
vote.
works?
What is wrong with you?
Vote up before the vote.
How do we do this?
Right. So, first of all, votes in favour of Sarah Ferguson. 1. Votes in favour of Keir Starmer. 2. 3.
She's put her hand up for me as well.
yeah, I can do both, right?
Yeah.
Do I get 2 votes?
Pluralistic
Well,
system.
that's
Votes
2-2.
in favour of
I'm Gen Z. I get whatever I want.
Gen Z. That's a tie.
But,
So
I
it's
mean,
between
is this
Fergie
how
and
it
Gen
works
Z?
in the cabinet at
I'm
number
gonna-
10?
He's going to say
No.
that's all.
I'm
Have you got confidence in
I'm
it?
going to
Have you
give
got
it to
confidence
I'm
in
going
your
to give it
team?
to Fergie, the Duchess of York, the toe-sucking champion of Great Britain. I think it's got because she won't be in it again because she's now going to disappear from public life and hide out under the stairs with Andrew.
The flame-haired terror.
The
Final
flame-haired
nail
terror,
in
yeah.
coffin right there.
Effectively walk out.
Toe-sucking.
Yeah, toe-sucking. Yeah, so the toe-sucking Duchess of York. Here we go, plank of the week. Once again, well done. Thank you to Jeremy. Thank you to Samara. Thank you to Will. Thank you to Mark Wogan. We'll be back same time next week for more plankery.